guys, I'm Lori Vitale. Today I want to show you how I like to make my pork carnitas. Now I shared a picture of my dinner a couple of weeks ago and we were having pork carnitas and I'm just so obsessed with this recipe. Everyone around me is so obsessed with this recipe. It's just so good, perfect for a party, and they're just really good. But do keep in mind, not authentic by any means, but it is my version, and you know me, I like good food, so I'm pretty happy sharing this recipe with you, and I think a lot of you are really going to enjoy it. The list of ingredients you'll need is not very long, but they're all the right ones. You're gonna start off with some pork. Now, these are pork carnitas, so I'm making them with pork, and you want a shoulder, or sometimes it's also called butt, but it's really just a pork shoulder. Now, I'm making a small batch today, so it's only gonna feed about 4 to 6 people. I've got an orange. Here I've got some dried onion flakes, oregano, chili powder, and some ground cumin. Lots of fresh chopped garlic, salt and pepper. You need a little bit of water and just a little tiny bit of vegetable oil. Now, I'm gonna make this stovetop in my little Dutch oven here. It's gonna slow cook for a few hours, but when I make a big batch to feed like 6, 8, 10 people, what I like to do is I like to sear my pork on the stovetop, and then I put it right into a crock pot and let it cook all day long. But since it's such a small amount of pork, I just like to do it on the stovetop because it works really well and I get to eat a whole lot faster. So, and the leftovers are just phenomenal. Okay, to my pork. Now, when you want to make sure when you buy a pork shoulder is that you remove as much of the fat as possible, but you need to leave behind just a little bit because that's what gives you flavor. But when we go ahead and shred this after it's been cooked, I take that remaining fat off. And also, since we're on the topic of this, if a recipe like this one calls for about a 2 1/4 pound of pork shoulder, which is what this is, you're gonna need to buy like a 3 1/2 pounds, because I'm telling you, by the time you trim off all the fat, if you weigh it, I actually weighed mine and it was about 1 pound of fat that I needed to discard. So you need to buy a little bit a bigger piece to get, you know, in the result of about 2 1/4 pound of pork shoulder. I hope that makes sense, but I think you get the drift. I'm just salt and peppering this all around, and I'm preheating my pan over medium-high heat because I want to sear this baby. All right, and all I'm gonna do is let that sear for just a few minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of turn it around when it's ready. In the meantime, this is what I like to do. I like to take my little bit of water that I have here. I'm going to squeeze the juice of 1 orange right in here, like so. Then I like to take all of my garlic, which I don't like to, I don't saute my garlic because this is going to cook for a really long time. The garlic is going to get really sweet and tender, and when we shred this and we kind of finish it off, it kind of all just melts in with the meat. It's so, listen, it is so good. It's unreal. I love this recipe so much, and it's so easy. Pair it with some really good corn tortillas, hint, hint, and you've got a fabulous meal. Okay, and then I take my spices, add them right to my water, and then just kind of stir everything together to combine. That way the spices don't get all clumped up in a specific area. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to turn my pork, just let it sear for a few more minutes on all, you know, the rest of the sides, and then we'll marry the two. What else is there? What is this? My meat has been seared. I just like to discard all the fat because at this point I don't need any more, but that stuff down there, that's good. And this will provide some fat as it's cooking, but you know, if I don't need it, I get rid of it. And I like to put my meat back in, and then my magical sauce here. And I know this doesn't look like a lot, but remember, this isn't going to be like a soup or a stew. You're not going to be needing the sauce. This just is kind of like the magical sauce that kind of infuses throughout the pork. So now all I'm going to do is put the lid on, put this on low as it'll go, and let it cook for about 4 hours. And every hour, what I like to do is to just flip it onto a side. So there are 4 sides, so every hour I flip it aside. That way it gets evenly cooked, and then I will show you what it looks like when it's there. Do not be tempted to add any more liquid to this. I promise you it is going to work fabulously. Also, if you can look down here, you see that my pan is not necessarily really big compared to the pork, and that's because if I were to use a really big pan, that amount of sauce would evaporate by the time the pork is finished cooking. So get a pan that's small enough to kind of keep everything about that, that size, I guess. And I'm just gonna let this cook low and slow, and then I will show you what it looks like when it's fully cooked. All right, so my pork was cooking for about 3.5 hours, and during the last 30 minutes or so, 25-30 minutes, I uncovered it and cooked it without the lid on because I wanted that sauce to really evaporate. Otherwise, it would be to be swimming in there. So now I've let this cool for a bit so I can handle it. And now what I'm gonna do, as you can see, I've kind of it breaks up into pieces as it cooks because it gets more and more tender. So what I like to do now, you can see it's just succulent and gorgeous. I like to just shred it like so, put it right back into the same pot. If there's a big chunk of fat like right there, that's a little bit of too much fat for my liking, you can go ahead and just discard it. So I'm gonna just shred everything up. You can serve this however your heart desires. We like it with chopped white onions. I like with lots of cilantro, some fresh lime juice, and if I have really ripe avocado, add some avocado on that as well. I don't have any avocado today because, as you know, with avocados, you buy early, you eat them late because you need them to ripen. And mine are just not quite there yet. So, but I know that a lot of people like to eat them with a nice green sauce with tomatillos, and by all means, go ahead and make yourself some green salsa. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish shredding up my pork. All right, so I've got all of my meat shredded. Now I put it back into the same pot with any bit of that juice or sauce that was left over, because now comes what I think is one of the most important parts about a really good carnitas, that you need to crisp up that meat. If you're doing this in a crock pot, at this point you would want to add a little bit of vegetable oil to a regular skillet and shred your meat, and then go ahead and sort of sear it in that. You don't have to. If you want to eat it just like this, it's perfectly edible and delicious and outstanding. But I like those little crispy edges, and it really doesn't take that long. But what you're going to do is just over about medium heat is you're going to cook your pork here until it gets nice and crispy, but not all the way, just like little bits and pieces, that's what you want. All right, I've got my meat all done. You can do whatever your heart desires with this, but I like to eat it with corn tortillas, cilantro, preferably lots of cilantro, lots of white onions. Like I said, if I had some avocados, I'd be into it, but I don't have any that's perfectly ripe yet. And then a squeeze of lime, and I'm so happy with this. It's like borderline ridiculous, but I am gonna just go right in. Happy soul. So good. So easy, and you can make a bigger batch that feed a lot of people super easily. Please make these for your next get together. Go to laurainthekitchen.com to get the recipe. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.